What's up, everyone? Welcome to the March 28th edition of FanDuel Tournament Plays presented by PrizePicks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at PrizePicks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We have a crazy 9-game NBA slate tonight. A lot of moving parts, a lot of guys listed as questionable, but also a lot of guys already ruled out, to where we have several teams playing extremely shorthanded and or missing multiple starters, or in the case of the Boston Celtics, 4 of their 5 starters. There's going to be a lot of value tonight. It's likely to be a very high scoring slate, but there are also a lot of good plays, which does typically keep ownership at least somewhat in check. So using the boom bust tool on awesemo.com, we're going to take a look at 5 of the top tournament options on tonight's FanDuel slate, starting at number 5 with LaMelo Ball, not Lonzo. He's not playing. Don't play him. LaMelo Ball, $8,800. Point guard projected for about 10% ownership with a 13% chance of being in the optimal lineup. There's a lot of volatility to LaMelo Ball, which always makes him appealing when he's low owned in tournaments. Tonight's no different because there's going to be a lot of value on this slate. So getting the right payout pieces, the guys that go for 60 plus fantasy points, is going to be really useful. It's always useful, but it's going to be really, extra important tonight because there's certainly going to be good value plays to come through. LaMelo is not the most likely guy to succeed, but he is only $8,800. He could conceivably give you 37 to 38 minutes if he plays well and the game is competitive, and he's averaged 1.3 FanDuel points per minute this season. Number 4, Derek White, $5,400 price tag, point guard only, projected for about 7% ownership with a 13% chance of being in the optimal lineup. White has averaged 1.06 FanDuel points per minute without DeJounte Murray on the floor since the start of last season when he was on the Spurs. The reason I mention that is that it's kind of the closest proxy, closest equivalent that we can get to what he's going to be playing with tonight in Boston. He's only played between 20 and 30 minutes without both of Tatum and Brown on the floor since joining the Celtics. But seeing that he averaged over a fantasy point per minute without Murray during his time over the last couple of seasons in San Antonio makes me think that you're likely to get similar production tonight against Toronto, and he's likely to play 30 plus minutes as well. Number 3, Peyton Pritchard, $4,400 with point guard and shooting guard eligibility. Since the start of last season, Pritchard has averaged 0.97 FanDuel points per minute without either one of Tatum or Brown on the floor. He's projected for 4% ownership right now with an 18% chance of being in the optimal lineup. I do think there's a very good chance that ownership increases, but obviously when he's projected to be 4 times as likely to succeed as his current ownership level, there's plenty of room for that to increase and him to remain a good option. He's $4,400, likely, I think, to give you upper 20s, maybe 30 minutes tonight. I expect him to be one of the 3 highest usage guys on this team, along with Marcus Smart and Derek White. Coming in at number 2, Marcus Smart, $6,000 price tag, point guard and shooting guard eligible as well. 21% ownership projection, 35% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Since the start of last season, Smart has a 25.9% usage rate and a 30.1% assist percentage without Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown on the floor. He's averaged 1.11 FanDuel points per minute over that time, and I expect him to play well over 30 minutes, assuming tonight's game is competitive. Number 1, DeJounte Murray, $10,000, extremely popular at 39% projected ownership, but with a 42% chance of being in the optimal lineup. Murray has point guard and shooting guard eligibility, which does give him obviously a couple of extra roster spots that you can fit him into. It increases the chances of him being optimal. And while he is really really popular, he is wildly underpriced. $10,000 for someone that has averaged 1.53 FanDuel points per minute without Derek White on the floor since the start of last season. He's facing the Houston Rockets. That was this season, 1.53 FanDuel points per minute without White this season, facing the Houston Rockets, likely to give you 34 to 36 minutes if this game's competitive. This is just a case where, in individual lineups, sure, you can move away from Murray to somebody that's lower owned in that price range. For example, a LaMelo Ball. But if you're playing a lot of lineups, you should probably be building around DeJounte Murray tonight. So to recap, the top 5 tournament options on FanDuel, starting at number 5, LaMelo Ball, number 4, Derek White, number 3, Peyton Pritchard, number 2, Marcus Smart, and number 1, DeJounte Murray.